Coming up next on this special edition of Arizona Horizon, it's our annual Journalists Year in Review. Tonight we'll see how 3 local journalists did in predicting big stories for this year and what their predictions are for 2024. Journalist Year in Review is next on Arizona Horizon.
This hour of local news is made possible by contributions from the Friends of PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to this special edition of Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Tonight we feature our annual Journalists Year in Review and Prediction Show, where we look back at predictions made for this year and get thoughts on the big stories for 2024. Our guests tonight are Lori Roberts of the Arizona Republic and azcentral.com, Howie Fisher of Capital Media Services, and Jeremy Duda of Axios Phoenix. Let's start by seeing how our journalists did this time last year with their predictions for this year. Producer Mike Salceda has the recap.
Journalists started with predictions about which Democrat will run for the Arizona Senate seat up for grabs in 2024.
I think we will see Congressman Ruben Gallego announce, and I don't know if we're going to see much after that.
Truthfully, by the time this show airs right around New Year's, Ruben may have already jumped in. I think he does want to control the field.
Ruben alone, Laura, or do you think someone joins him?
I think it will be Ruben alone in terms of major candidates. There may be some minor ones.
All the journalists correctly guessed that Ruben Gallego would run for Senate. Next, they were asked about whether Kyrsten Sinema would run to retain her spot in the Senate.
Well, I initially thought no, because you look at the public opinion polls, nobody much seems to like her. On the other hand, I've changed my mind. I think that she will run, because otherwise, why change to independent?
I think she will make noise in 2023, but I think when it comes down to it, now I'm predicting 2 years out, heaven help us, I think she's going to look at the numbers and say, as much as people say they want independence, the fact that there are more independents than Republicans and Democrats in the state, that there's no path to victory there for her.
So that's a no.
That's a no.
Initially, I thought yes. Now I'm thinking no. I think she wants to. I think that's the reason why she switched to independent. But I think she's going to do some polling, check out the lay of the land, and sometime, probably midway through next year, she's going to see no path to victory and decide to bow out.
Sinema has yet to make an announcement. They then guess which Republicans would run for Senate.
I think we're going to see Sheriff Mark Lamb down in Pinal County. There's been a lot of buzz about him. I believe he's already confirmed that he is considering it. I don't know if he'll do it. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Juan Ciscomani to run for more of the business establishment Ducey wing, but that's a little iffier.
I think there's going to be, Biggs will be in the race. I think Lamb will be in the race. I think those are the two main ones.
I think that Lamb has already made it very clear that he's going to go for it. He's the more farther right candidate, so I definitely think you're going to need a more establishment candidate. I think it will be Juan Ciscomani.
Mark Lamb did throw his cowboy hat into the ring, but Andy Biggs and Juan Ciscomani have not announced to run. Next, the journalists turned to state government issues, including how many bills Governor Katie Hobbs would quash.
How many vetoes will Governor Hobbs issue next year?
2,143. No, the record, I believe, is Janet Napolitano, Democratic governor, who had a Republican legislature, and I think her record was 58. So I'm going to go with 59, just because Hobbs is going to want to do things just a little better.
I'm going to say 30, which is going to be more than any governor except for Napolitano. She had 3 years, I believe, that exceeded that.
I think it's going to be more in the neighborhood of 24.
Lori Roberts came the closest with her guess of 59, not even coming close to the record-breaking 143 vetoes issued by Hobbs. The panelists then took a stab at when lawmakers might end their session.
I think we're here June 28th, June 29th, maybe the morning of July 1st.
Interesting. Lori, what do you think?
Well, I got maybe this time next year. But no, I think probably June 25th.
June 20. Okay, all right. What do you think, Jeremy? Give me a date.
I'm going to say June 15th. Pretty late, but not quite up to the wire.
The legislature completely shattered the record for the longest session ever at 204 days, eclipsing the old record of 173. They ended on July 31st, with Howie coming closest with his guess of July 1st. Journalists then took a stab at whether there would be a special session in 2023.
Every once in a while, I throw out a bonus question. So, will there be a special session at any time in the calendar year 2023?
I think so, yes.
Any idea on what it would be?
Oh God, it could be budget, it could be water.
I think assuming that we haven't resolved the expenditure limit, before the new session comes in, I think there'll have to be a concurrent special session on that.
I think that there will be a concurrent special session on the spending limit.
All three journalists guessed correctly that the legislature would hold a special session. Journalists then turned their attention to the future of failed GOP gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake.
Kari Lake, will she be involved in politics, Arizona politics, in any way, shape, or form next year?
Other than maybe as a surrogate for Donald Trump in his 2024 election, she's still very popular among the far right. But no, I don't believe that she will.
I think we haven't seen the last of her as far as trying to influence politics. As far as trying to run for office, I think she'd rather be a queen maker, if you will.
I think more of a queen maker. I think she'll stay involved. I think she'll still be claiming to be the rightfully elected governor. I think she still commands the loyalty of a very large faction of the Republican base out here. But I think her greater involvement will be on the national level. I think she'll be very involved in Trump's campaign.
All three journalists got that one wrong. She is running for Senate. Turning to national politics, the question was about Donald Trump's future.
Will Donald Trump be indicted?
I'm leaning towards yes, just because there's so many different investigations going on. There's so many different possibilities for this to happen.
I think that he will be. I think that it is bad form to keep nuclear secrets of the nation in your sock drawer.
Bad form, Howie, but is that an indictment?
Well, I think he's going to be indicted, but not for the stuff related to the January 6th or even this stuff. I think there's going to be something else with his business.
Everyone guessed that one correctly. He was indicted more than once. Sticking with national politics, the question was about Joe Biden's future.
Will he announce a run for re-election?
He will announce one, but I think before the end of the year, I think he will pull out.
Lori, will Joe Biden run for re-election?
I believe that he will run for re-election if Donald Trump runs.
I think he's not going to run. I think, his role for the Democrats was to defeat Donald Trump in 2020. He did that.
Howie and Lori were correct, with Jeremy guessing wrong. Journalists then speculated on the future of Twitter.
Will Twitter exist as we know it at this time next year?
Twitter will continue to exist. I think what it's going to be is the harder question. As we know it, no.
As we know it, as we are coming to know it, as a sort of an echo chamber now for the right and for conspiracy theories and for candidates who decide the number of retweets that they get and their number of followers somehow is indicative of how many votes that they will get in things. I think you're going to see that kind of Twitter, much more of a rightward slant, and a lot of people leaving it.
What do you think, Jeremy?
I think it more or less will still exist as we know it. I mean, probably some changes.
3 for 3 on that one, as Twitter is still around, although with the new name of X. Journalists then had a lightning round on sports topics.
The Coyotes Arena, will Tempe voters approve it?
I think so. I think that's that whole project is a big deal for Tempe.
What do you think, Howie?
I don't think so. I think people are tired of taxpayer-funded things, even if it's a good deal.
What do you think?
Yep.
You think they're going to vote for it?
Yes, I do.
Lori, will the Diamondbacks, the Arizona Diamondbacks, your Arizona Diamondbacks, make the playoffs?
No.
Not at all.
No.
All right. What do you think, Howie?
Not this year. Not their year.
Not a bit. Jeremy?
No, but they'll show some improvement, I think.
How far will the Suns go in the playoffs?
I was at Game 7 against the Mavs, so this is tough for me. All right, I'm just going to say they'll go to the finals.
I'm going
to regret this, but I'm going to say it.
That's bold. What do you think?
Quarterfinals about as far as it gets.
Quarterfinals. I don't even know what that means.
Semifinals. Chris Paul is not getting any younger.
Name a team that's going to play in the Super Bowl.
I think that the Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles.
Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys, okay.
My wife's family's from Buffalo, so I'm going to give a shout out to the Bills. I think that's their year to make it back.
Those are all good answers. I think they have a really good shot.
Only Howie guessed that the Tempe project would be soundly rejected by voters. None of the journalists foresaw that the Diamondbacks would actually not only get into the playoffs, but end up playing in the World Series, which they lost. Jeremy was wrong. The Suns did not go to the finals. Howie was also wrong, but Lori was right, as the Suns played in the semifinals. Only Howie correctly predicted a Super Bowl game contestant, the Eagles. They lost to the Chiefs. And finally, journalists ended in their traditional manner by going out on a limb with predictions.
All right, time for the sure shot, long shot predictions. Howie, we're turning to you.
Okay, because I did so well last year.
Give it to us.
Okay, in terms of sure shot, I think, well, let me give you the long shot first. The long shot is, I think that maybe following up from last year, I think we will see some sort of political action committee or some other activity on behalf of Doug Ducey as he tips his toe into the Potomac River and says, I think I belong in Washington. The two sure shots are, number one, I think that Wendy Rogers will introduce a record number of election bills.
Lori?
I'll give you two sure shots. We'll have an initiative for ranked choice voting. And I believe there will be another initiative started, the petition drive to ban the 1864 abortion law. I don't think that Katie Hobbs is going to get the legislature to budge on that. So my long shot, and this is pretty long, but I think we have not heard the last of Kelly Ward. I think she'll be gunning for Paul Gosar's seat.
Okay, long shot, sure shot.
Sure shot. I think the Colorado River Basin states are going to be unable to reach an agreement on who takes what cutback, so I think the feds are going to impose one, and everyone's going to be unhappy with it. Long shot, I think the aggregate expenditure limit fight is, everyone's going to play chicken, no one's going to back down, and we will see schools shut down around the end of the school year because they won't be able to resolve this.
Howie's long shot on former Governor Doug Ducey's political future was wrong. Wendy Rogers did introduce at least 4 election bills. Lori got both her sure shot predictions correct, but failed in her guess about Kelly Ward. Finally, Jeremy got both his sure shot and long shot predictions incorrect. The winner of the 2023 predictions was Howie with 9 points, followed by Lori with 8 and Jeremy with 5.
And congratulations to Howie for his win. Let's get that part of it over with. Congratulations.
Okay, I'm done.
Good for you. All right, let's get now to our predictions for 2024. And Howie, since you're the winner for the last go-round, we'll start with you. Let's start with the biggie. Who will be elected president in November?
Donald Trump.
President Trump, redo.
President Trump, redo. Economy is bad. Joe Biden is fumbling around. We can make a prediction as to whether he'll even stay in the race, but they spend a lot of money. But I don't see him. I don't see Biden coming back for second term.
Lori, who's the next president?
Well, I think it's going to be really close, but I think that ultimately it will be Joe Biden. I think he's got a lot of ground to make up right now, but I think that there are some things coming down the pike legally with Donald Trump, perhaps, that are going to turn off some people. I think you're going to see a lot of the electorate change this year, new people coming into the polling places, and I think it'll be Joe Biden by a hair.
What do you think, Jeremy?
I think Biden, things don't look great for him right now, obviously, but there's still a long way out. There's a lot that can happen, a lot that probably will happen. I think he'll probably squeak through this one, although I'm not sure if he's going to win Arizona again.
All right, Jeremy, sticking with you. Donald Trump, will he be criminally convicted?
I think he will. I mean, we've got, 3, 4, however many cases we have going on. Looks like they're really eager to get these taken care of before the election. So I think at least one of those is going to result in a conviction against him.
Criminal conviction, Howie?
Well, not on anything related to January 6th, and we've seen recently what's happened with the Supreme Court taking up the issue. I think he may end up with some criminal issues in terms of the New York case, but nothing related to January 6th.
Interesting. Criminal convictions.
Yes, I think that he will be criminally convicted in January 6th on maybe one charge and in Georgia.
All right, sticking with you, the Senate race in Arizona. Who wins that race?
Ooh, another close one. I think it's going to be Ruben Gallego by a hair, by a half a hair. Is there such a thing as a half a hair?
All right, bonus question. Will Senator Sinema be in that race?
No, unless the answer is yes. I go back and forth on her every single day. We've been debating this for a year. I don't think anybody knows the answer to that, maybe not even Senator Sinema.
Big question and bonus question. What do you got?
I think that Gallego will win. I think that Sinema, this is a rerun of last year. I think she's going to get there and she's going to say there's no path to victory. She will find something else to do.
At the last minute?
June.
Okay. Jeremy, what do you think?
I think probably Ruben Gallego wins this one in a pretty close race. I do not think Sinema will be in it. I think she spent the past year since we were last here trying to find that path to victory, and if she hasn't found it yet, I don't think she's going to find it.
Interesting. All right, Congressional District 8. Who wins, Jeremy, start with you. Who wins the Republican primary there?
I think it's going to be Abe Hamada. I mean, that Trump endorsement, as we saw in 2022, that goes a long way, and I think that's going to carry him to victory in the CD8 primary.
What do you think, Al?
I have to go the same thing. I see Hamada's already trashing House Speaker Ben Toma, and so, again, the Trump endorsement, and he's got the name ID. Plus, he'll be in the news a lot with the latest effort to become Attorney General.
Lori?
Speaker Toma has the credentials. He has the voting record. He's a conservative. He lives in the district. So Abe Hamada will be the nominee because he's got the golden seal of approval from the orange guy.
You got us going one way and you came back the other. Any congressional incumbents ousted in this next election?
I think that David Schweikert's in trouble. He won 2 years ago with like 50.4% of the vote in a race where Democrats nationally didn't even put any money into Jevin Hodge. It was very, very close. I think if any are going to will lose, it will be David Schweikert.
Any incumbents, Jeremy, that will lose their seats next year?
At least one, possibly two. I mean, Schweikert and Ciscomani, the Democrats, if they had spent really targeted those races last year, they might have won it. I think Schweikert is definitely in the most trouble. That was the closest race, and he might have some tough opponents.
See, I think that Ciscomani is most likely to lose because, again, he's the new guy. Look, if Schweikert survived all the stuff with the scandals and having to pay back money and the rest of it, I think he's there.
Let's stay in that district, that seat. Who wins the Democratic primary there?
Oh, Lord. Not sure. I mean,
Too tough to call? Too close to call?
close.
We'll make it too close to call. Lori, what do you think?
I think it's going to come down to Connor O'Callaghan. I think is his name. He's relatively unknown. Long time lived here, left, has come back. Probably the most conservative of the three main candidates in the race. He's not been in the race for long, and already he's raising money. I think it will be O'Callaghan.
What do you think of the Democrats going up against Schweikert? Who's going to take that race?
I'm leaning towards Andre Cherney. He's got connections. He's going to have the fundraising. He has some experience. I think this will be the time he gets out of that primary.
Jeremy, sticking with you, United States Senate. Do Dems keep the Senate?
I don't think so. I think there's too many tough holds for them. They're going to lose West Virginia, Ohio, and Montana both look really shaky. As I said, I think they'll hold the seat here, but Republicans don't need to win Arizona to win the Senate.
What do you think, Howie?
I think that the Senate goes down, the House stays in Republican hands, and assuming my prediction on Trump is correct, we're going to have an all-Republican government, so hang on to your hats.
What do you think? Were the Democrats going to lose the Senate?
No, I think the Democrats are going to hang on to the Senate. I do think, though, that the wait, who's got the House? The
Republican.
Republicans, yeah, I get them mixed up. I think that they will lose the House.
Wow.
My goodness. So you think you've got Biden, Democratic House, Democratic Senate?
Yeah, but by little bitty margins. And the reason I say that with the House is because I think that there are far more Republicans having to defend their seats in states that Biden won than there are vice versa. I think it's something like 18-5. So I think it'll be close, but yeah,
So,
Democrats only have to pick up 5 seats in the House.
Okay, Democrats House, Republicans House. Jeremy, what do you think for the House?
I think the Democrats will take back the House while they're losing the Senate.
Wow. All right, let's get to Arizona here. Jeremy, will Democrats win control of the Arizona House or Senate?
This is a tough prediction because people have been predicting for a lot of years that they'd finally get over the hump. I think they will take one chamber, probably the House. I have a hard time seeing them take both, though.
The chamber that they don't take, will Republicans increase their margin?
I don't think they will. I think there's even a shot we could see a split Senate.
Interesting. What do you think, Hal?
And I like the idea of the split Senate because you've got Judy Schwiebert, who is a fairly conservative, middle-of-the-road person running against Senator Bullock, who was in the House, left, dropped out, reappointed. I think that I say a 15-15 Senate, which we haven't had since Randall Gannett was Senate president.
Interesting. Senate, let's go Senate and House. What's the makeup?
I think that Democrats will either take the Senate or more likely tie it up. I think that the races that you're mentioning, the other race I'll be watching is Justine Wadsack. That is firmly, in Tucson, that is a firmly Republican district. And she should have won it by a lot last time, and yet she didn't.
But you're making the assumption that Vince Leach doesn't oust her in the primary also, and
Right.
He's got a history.
Well, now if he wins, that's different. But assuming the incumbent is the nominee, I think that it will probably be tied up, or maybe Democrats will win by 1.
How many vetoes for Governor Hobbs? Not necessarily will she break her own record. Maybe she will. How many vetoes do you see?
I see, I can't remember what I went with last year. Let's go with 66.
60. Okay. What do you think, Howie?
Well, I'm divided on this. On one hand, it's an election year, and the Republicans are doing everything they can to throw stuff up there to say, look, she hates people. But, Jeremy and I spent some time with Republican leadership, and Warren Peterson had a good point. He said, look, at some point, the people who had bills that were vetoed last year will do it, or they won't offer them again, or they'll try to fix it. Consider the bill, for example, on tamale sales.
Right.
And I think they're going to try to fix things. So I think it's going to be, 98.
98. All right. What do you got? 66, 98. What do you got?
I'm going to go for 90. I think it'll be more than the record she broke, the previous Napolitano record of 58, but they're not going to get near the 143. That's going to be, I think it'll be a little bit egregious, and they'll probably tone it down a little bit and not make her veto.
A record
not send her quite as much stuff. She'll have the top 2 veto records.
A record to
after
stand
next
for the
session.
ages is basically what you're saying.
Yes.
All right. Sine die, what do you got? Give me a date.
I'm going to say May 20th. I think they're going to get out a little earlier than people think. Certainly not like last year. It's an election year. They want to get out of there. They want to campaign. Both sides have their eye on the legislature. So they're going to try and get out of there, I think, a bit early. Certainly not August.
You took my date.
Oh.
I was going to say that. So on the idea that under wins, right? I'll
Yes.
go with May 19th.
Tactical. What do you think?
I think it's going to be June 15th. I think they're going to do some of what they did this year, which is having to do with, well, we'll put everybody out on vacation while we negotiate the last little bits. But I think it's going to be June 15th, as much as they want to get out to raise money for re-election.
Howie, Make Elections Fair Act. First of all, going to make the ballot, and if so, does it win?
It does make the ballot, recognizing there are two competing measures.
Right.
But assuming the main one does it, I don't think it wins. I think that the idea of ranked choice voting, as much as, once you sit down with somebody, you can explain it. I think when voters are confused, they're going to say no.
What do you think?
I think it makes the ballot. I think it wins. And I think that the powers that be immediately sue to get it thrown out, like they always do.
Well, it's going to, regardless. What do you think? First, does it make the ballot? Secondly, does it win?
I think it makes the ballot, and whether it wins is hard to call, but I'm leaning towards yes. I think it probably wins. I think having a presidential race between Trump and Biden, who a lot of folks are not going to be happy about, is going to help. And people say, hey, do we really just want the two choices in elections anymore?
Arizona Abortion Act. Make the ballot, succeed.
It'll make the ballot, and I think it'll win pretty easily.
Pretty easily. What do you think, Howie?
I think it'll make the ballot. I think it'll be approved. I think that presidential year, and a lot of people are really upset. Now, the caveat is, what does the Supreme Court do? The Supreme Court goes back to no abortion except to save the life of the mother. I think the thing gets 78%. If the Supreme Court goes back to 15 weeks, I think it wins by 59%.
Lori?
I'm with you on that. I think that it makes the ballot and it wins. I don't think it will necessarily win by as much as 59% if we have the 15-week law. Polls have shown people want abortion up to a point, and I think for a lot of people, that point, 15 weeks seems reasonable to them. However, if we go back to the 1864 law, I bet it's 8 to 2.
Wow.
80%.
Quickly here, will there be a recession next year?
Well, Donald Trump has said there'll be a depression if he loses, so I'm going to go with no.
Okay, that's right, because Howie, recession next year?
No, I don't see it. I think that we're going to have the soft landing. I mean, I think there'll be a few months of things getting into, maybe a bit of deflation, but I don't see the kind of what legally constitutes a recession happening.
What do you think, Jeremy?
I think no. I think economic conditions are not going to be great, kind of like they are now, even though some benchmarks are pretty good. A lot of folks are just going to view it as bad because of inflation, because of some other factors, but I don't think it'll anything that qualifies technically as a recession.
All right, let's get to Howie's favorite category, sports.
Why do you keep doing this? You're assuming I either A, know anything about it, or B, care.
You're assuming that I'm assuming that. Let's go with Suns. Will they go back to the playoffs?
They will they'll go into the first round, and they will lose there.
First round loss. All right, Lori, Suns.
I think that they will make the finals if they are healthy.
Okay.
And that's a big if.
That's a big if. Jeremy, Suns in the playoffs.
I think they'll get to the Western Conference Finals with the same caveat that if the big three are healthy, if they're not, I think they'll still get to the second round.
All right, Diamondbacks, Jeremy, playoffs?
I think they will.
Yeah.
I think they can make it to the NLDS. Getting further than that. Now that the Dodgers have Ohtani, I don't know. It's going to be a bit of a
kind of changes
it's
the
going to be a
cards.
bit tougher.
Oh, I think they could go to the National League Championship Series, but beyond that, no.
No. Okay. What do you think, Lori?
I think
Diamondbacks.
they'll make the playoffs, absolutely. They made it all the way last year. Well, almost.
Almost.
Well,
I think they'll make it to the second round.
Will they be successful next year as they were this year? That's
Only two teams get
it's a
to the
pretty
World
big-
Series,
I
so
know.
no, I don't think so. But I think, go D-backs.
All right. We finish the show with sure shot and long shot. Jeremy, no, we're starting with you. You're the big winner. So let's go with your sure shot and your long shot for 2024.
Okay, my sure shot is that the recall, which will be launched in January against Katie Hobbs, will fail miserably. Even assuming they get the signatures, which I don't think they will, there is just no way voters are going to say, oh, we want to put her back on the ballot.
Long shot is that while I believe that Trump will win the presidency, I think he will lose in Arizona because of the abortion issue and some of the other stuff on the ballot.
Interesting. What do you got, Lori? Sure shot, long shot?
I think my sure shot, well, it's not sure, but I think that the fake electors will be indicted, but only 4 of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why 4?
Well, I think that there are certain ones that were rubes and certain ones that were in on the whole thing. That's just my opinion.
So who are the rubes?
I don't think I'm going to go that far. But I think there will be 4. I mean, think about it.
That's pretty good for a sure shot. What do you got for a long shot?
For the long shot is we've had all of those Republican, remember this is also a county race year, all of the Republican county officials who've been beaten about the head and shoulders and threatened and everything else, I think every single one of them will win re-election.
Wow. All
in
right.
Maricopa County.
There you go. Okay. Jeremy?
All right. Lori kind of took my sure shot. I was going to talk about the Attorney General's investigation there, so I'm going to go a little bit further out on a limb for I don't even want to say this is a sure shot, but I think the Arizona Supreme Court will say the 15-week ban and not the territorial ban is what is going to be in effect. The long shot, I'm going to say U of A's budget struggles continue, and they will have to privatize the basketball program.
Holy smokes, that's a bold one.
I'm probably going to get it wrong. Whatever I say, I'm probably going to get it wrong. So.
That's all right. We like the bold long shots. Panel, thank you so much. Good luck in 2024. Congratulations to you on 2023.
Yeah.
That's it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.